This is the VG6 Epsilon 5.56 muzzle brake. I kind of find myself in a predicament with it. I think for rifles, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, they're awesome for pistols too. And maybe I'm just a pussy, but let me show you this. So when you're cheeking this, right? You're looking down your sights and you're pulling trigger. All of the gases are expelled out the sides here, and then they're expelled out these front grooves here. Well, the problem is when you're shooting, all of that concussive forces that are being pushed out of the top are coming back at you. And it kind of feels like you're mildly getting punched in the nose. Now, maybe you guys can leave a comment below. This is my first experience with a muzzle brake. So I'm not an expert. Duh. I mean, we all know that. I'm not fooling anybody here. But yeah, guys, my first experience with a muzzle brake. Now, it does keep the barrel down really nicely. I mean, it just goes pew, 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 and this barrel doesn't even move. Now, I also have the VG6 cage device. And then what this does is it slides on and you bolt down on those guys right here. And then what it does is it stops a lot of the concussive forces from coming out the side. It doesn't stop it, but it slows it down and pushes most of it out the top. Now with this on there, I still feel like I'm kind of getting punched in the face. So don't get me wrong, I'm getting used to it. I'm definitely getting more used to it, and it's not as bad. But like before, I'd be like this. I was like, I don't want it to hurt. I know, I'm a pussy. But anywho, so it works, especially if you don't want your neighbors to get their butts kicked by this. I didn't realize how much forces come out of these things. Like I said, this is my first experience with one. I'd seen them on YouTube. I'd never had any actual hands-on experience with them. And I do love it. This is awesome. I mean, it's one of the less expensive of the muzzle brakes out there, and it actually does its job. I'm not going to do one of those side-by-side tests with the grid lines and see how high it rises. I think those are dumb. But I started looking for other devices because even though I'm getting used to the concussive forces coming back at me in the face, it's not because of the brake. Honestly, it's not. It's because this barrel is only 7.5 inches long and my face is here. Now, if this barrel was out there, you know, maybe 10.5-inch barrels, it won't be an issue. Or especially rifle-sized barrels, it won't be an issue on those. But for pistols, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I wanted to try to find something that, kind of like the CRD, the concussive redirection devices, I wanted to find something similar to those that I could use in conjunction with the cage device. Well, not in conjunction, but like say I want to go to the range one day and maybe I'm out in the desert and I just want to shoot it wide open. You know, maybe I'm out in the desert and I got a buddy beside me and I want to run the cage device. Or maybe, you know, the day's been going really long and I'm just tired of getting hit in the face with concussive gases. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these bad boys on here. Check this out. There we go. Look at that. Boom. So what is this? This is the Indian Creek Designs BFD, which stands for Blast Forwarding Device. What's really awesome about this is a game changer, guys. You know, a lot of companies out there like Lantac with the Lantac Dragon, they make like a device that screws over their muzzle devices, but it doesn't fit anyone else's. And that's the same thing, it seems like, with a lot of the companies that make these muzzle devices is they make a proprietary blast forwarding device. And it sucks because like if you don't have that muzzle device, their blast forwarding device won't work. So like VG6, for example, this is the only thing that they make. They don't make anything else. So this is actually a universal design. It will fit any, what do you call it? Muzzle device that will fit in the diameter of that tube. But I don't remember the exact dimensions of that, but it's pretty dang wide open. And then what you have here is a threaded adapter. And so what you do is you take off your muzzle device. I got an install video. It'll be in the link in the description below. But essentially, this is like a little sleeve here. And it just slides over the threading of your barrel. It doesn't thread on. And then you put your crush washer and then you tighten it down and time your muzzle device. And so what's cool about it is, dun, 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 dun. So with mine, it's hidden. So I'm not too worried about it because mine is recessed back into the handguard. But you can see the threading is exposed. Well, they make this really cool thread protector, similar to like a suppressor or a threaded barrel, right? And you could screw that bad boy on. I'm not going to put it on all the way, but it is knurled. So if your barrel sticks out past your handguard, you can definitely use that to protect your threading. It's got really good knurling on it. And, but honestly, I just kind of keep it like this. So there are some negative things about the blast forwarding device. One example is it negates everything that this Epsilon 556 does as far as keeping the recoil down. Honestly, when I shoot it like this, it's almost like a bucking bull. Straight up. It doesn't increase the recoil by any means from, like, say, the standard bird cage, but it does kind of negate everything that it's doing. But it is nice to have those options. I don't know. Indian Creek Design sent this out to me for free because I was tired of getting punched in the face by my muzzle device. And so I reached out to them once I found this. I'll put a link in the description for you. I'm not affiliated with them. I am affiliated though with the VG6 stuff. So I appreciate your help on that. And thank you guys for your support. But I'm not affiliated with them, but I do have some. I wonder if they could put like maybe some perforations up here or some slits similar to what is on. Let me screw all this off here. Similar to the top of this. I wonder if they could do that. And I wonder if that would actually keep it from bucking like a horse when you put this on. But this thing's cool. It shoots like this huge fireball out the end. Even in the daytime, you can see it. So I give all of these products, I mean, the Epsilon 556 does its job very amazingly. It's like nothing's happening, honestly. You like pull the trigger and you're expecting a little bit of muzzle rise and it just stays flat. It doesn't go down. It doesn't come up. It's just super flat. And then when you add this thing right here, I almost feel like I get punched in the face a little bit harder because it's pushing more of the air out the top, or more of the gas, not air. And then this thing is just really nice to have just because maybe you're going to go to the indoor range and shoot. And some indoor ranges, it just kind of depends. They don't like muzzle devices like this. So it'd be nice to have this just to put on there just so you're not killing people in the stalls next to you. But yeah, I mean, these are great products. They function the way that the companies say they should function. And they do very well. The only reason I'm having, I guess what you would say is issues is, well, one, I've never had an AR pistol. Okay. Especially 7.5 inch. Two, I've never had experience with muzzle devices. So maybe I just didn't know what to expect. So they're not performing poorly. They're doing their job very nicely. And, this Epsilon 556, I mean, they're less than like, I don't remember how much they cost. They're around $80, I think, maybe less. And then the cage device, I think it's a little bit cheaper, but it slides right over perfectly. And then the Indian Creek Designs. I mean, this is, I think, the perfect combo right here. You get this one, you get the cage, you get the muzzle device, you get the cage device, and then you're going to get the Indian Creek Designs. And then what that'll do is it just gives you a lot more options. So, you know, if you're out in the desert and you want to run wide open, you can. If you got a buddy beside you out in the desert, you want to like save his ass a little bit, you can. And then if you really just don't want to hurt anybody, oops, got to take this off. It won't fit over this, but it will fit over that. So, you know, maybe you just don't want to hurt anybody or yourself. So yeah, this thing is awesome, guys. 100% recommend all of these. Now I haven't tried the other muzzle devices, so yes, of course, my review here is going to be a little bit biased based on lack of experience. However, I will say this. Dead nuts accurate. I mean, no muzzle rise whatsoever. So much easier to get double taps and triple taps off the, and on target. And then when you put this on there though, it makes it a little more difficult to do double taps and triple taps on target. I mean, you could do them. It's just like, oh. So it does its job. It does what it says it's going to do. It does what VG6 says it's going to do. I have no qualms about this. 100% recommend it. Yeah, I'm affiliated with it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you that if it sucks or not, guys. You know, that's kind of my whole thing about this. You know, there's a lot of people on YouTube who make money through affiliate links similar to me, and they don't tell you about it, or they just say good things about stuff so they can make money. And I don't think that that's right. I think that if you're fair, upfront, and honest with people, it gives you some kind of credibility that no one else can give you. And it will give you credibility so, you know, so people trust what you say. So, yeah, I've had zero issues with these. Installation was super easy for all of it. I'll put a link in the description for both of these. I got an install video for the Epsilon and cage device. Then I got an install video for the Indian Creek Designs blast forwarding device. So anyways, guys, I'm Jonathan with Tactical Toolbox. Look forward to seeing you guys at SHOT Show. And you guys take care.